For tonight's deep release class, we will be working on the inner and outer line, particularly of the lower leg, but then we'll come up the side body as well. So we'll be working, it's in the liver, gallbladder, meridian, a little bit of elimination, detoxification. So we'll get a little twisting in there, but then some nice kind of twisting action, particularly in the legs. So for tonight's practice, what we'll do is we'll actually begin all the way down at the feet with a therapy ball. And then I'm gonna use the plus size therapy balls out of the tote, and we'll work our way up the whole inner and outer leg together, one side then the other. And for that to take up the space between the thighs, it's nice to have a block to place the ball on so that you get that nice bit of pressure. And then as we work into the side body, I'm going to use the Gorgeous ball because I love that soft nature of the Gorgeous ball, but a foam roller will also do, or even the Alpha ball if you want a little bit more direct pressure. So whatever large tool you want, we'll just do a general roll along the lateral seam of the body, because then when we get into some sitting yin postures, we'll get a little side body lengthening to accompany that inner outer line opening. So for tonight's practice, we'll begin in standing. So take a single ball out from the tote and make your way towards your feet. And I like to have both accessible, especially if you have a newer set of therapy balls. It's nice to break one in on one foot and one on the other so that they wear evenly. So let's make our way up to the feet. I want to particularly work on the lateral mobility of the feet, but just to warm up, let's get a few nice strips across the bottom of the foot. So like you're kneading bread, press down, push and pull. Go along the middle or inner line of the foot, the middle, and then the outer line. As you go along the outer line of the foot, you'll find that you have to kind of push that pinky toe side of the foot down so that ball doesn't escape from you. And then work your way back to the inner line. And then pause with the ball underneath the arch of your foot. With the heel down, can you let the forefoot drop down as well? And let the ball lift the arch. And then can you start to rock the arch over the therapy ball? You most might drag the ball to the inside of the arch to get that lifting along the inner line of the arch. And then you might focus on lifting the outside edge of the arch. So these lines on the inner and outer leg create a sling or a stirrup to support the foot. So we're awakening that right from the bottom of the foot. And then go ahead and step off and just feel the difference between the foot that you just rolled and the one that's coming up next. Just sensing the effect of the practice. Feel the difference in the arch of your foot and your sense of connection to the earth. And then now grab your other ball and find your way to your other foot and just start to awaken the bottom of the foot by stripping along the inside, middle, and then outer line of the foot. You'll have to dig that pinky toe side of the foot down a little bit. Press into the ball like you're kneading. That will help keep the ball tracking just where you want it to go. And then go ahead, land with the arch or the high point or the keystone of the arch. And then right over the ball. And just see if you can drape the foot over the ball. And then now let the ball slide to the inside portion of the arch. It's almost like you're dragging the pinky toe side foot to the floor as the ball comes towards the inside. Lifting the medial or the longitudinal arch of the foot. Feeling that inside portion of the stirrup. And then go ahead, switch direction, sort of drag the ball to the outside so the big toe side comes down. I feel like I go through phases oftentimes as I do this work, and either I love to start lying down, really start grounding, or this is another way I really like to start grounding when I begin this practice, activating and awakening the feet, and then do just a couple more rolls to reconnect to the sense of solid ground, feeling the foundation of your feet touch the earth. And then when you're ready, bring this foot down and just feel all four corners of the feet, the tips of all 5 toes, the lifting of the arch. Can you sense the pull of the sling of the foot? Either that lifting of the inside arch and lifting of the outside arch, creating that stirrup. Maybe to increase your awareness of sensation, you can rock to the inside and outside portions of the foot before coming to stillness. And then sense your weight, soft legs, soft ankles, right over the high point of the arch. Can you feel the body align over the arch of the foot so that you can let go of any extra effort and allow the body to rest in gravity? Maybe as we begin here, reconnecting to the external support. Set an intention for your tonight's practice. What you need most. Somewhere, something that needs grounding within you. And as you work through these inner and outer lines, maybe something that you can eliminate, let go of, purify. Take a full breath in, breathing in through the bottoms of your feet. And then exhale all the way out. right through the soles of your feet, letting go completely whatever you don't need back into the earth. And then make your way down towards your side. And as you come to your side, I'm just going to use my Coregeous ball as an accessory prop to support my head, because I like to maintain as much ease or spinal neutral as I can as I do this work. And then we'll take our set of therapy balls. Like I said, I have my plus size therapy balls tonight. And I'm going to take one ball to the outer edge of the lower leg, just behind the fibula bone. And then I'm going to take one therapy ball inside, just behind the tibia bone. So I'm going to squeeze the posterior compartment of my bottom leg, for me, which is my right leg. And you could choose whichever side. It doesn't matter right now. Find whichever side is calling you so that you start to listen to that internal teacher. And then we're going to create a clamping or a sandwich to that bottom calf as we work into this deep posterior line of the body, the posterior tibialis, and also into the peroneal tendons on the outside of the leg, which create that sling or that stirrup around the foot. And I'm going to start to work into it by finding a point of sensation, that just right pressure that you get to choose. You get to listen to the sensations of the body, finding that just right spot along the back edge of the bones on the in and outside of the lower leg. And then start to move the foot of the bottom leg. Move it up and down. Circle it around. Move it side to side, particularly side to side is what I have in mind tonight. And then maybe if it's sensational, just pause with some deep compression. Deep pressure, allowing time and gravity to help those balls sink in a little deeper. And then find your next ball stop. Move the balls up a little bit higher. I'm going to get into the bulky part now. And I'm going to just find that just right spot on the middle portion of my shin by rolling my top knee up and down just a little. And it will help me fine tune that location. And then I can move my bottom leg to fine tune that location on the bottom, on the outside of my lower leg. And then again, create a little pin and stretch. Be curious, start to explore how those tissues are gliding and sliding. If you feel like your balls are a little bit on the smaller side, and I have a block here, and you feel like you just need a little bit more width between the calves, like the calves don't give quite enough compression, you can also use your block here. And that block can give you just a little bit added pressure, a little bit more squeeze. If you feel like you just need a little help maintaining the pressure. My block's a little thick, as you can see. And then find one more ball stop. Come into that upper portion here of the lower leg. And again, make sure we're trying to get into those deeper compartments of the lower leg. So we're getting right behind the ridge of the bones that make up the lower leg. We're sandwiching that posterior compartment, those muscles that lie deep to the gastrocsoleus or deep to the calf. These muscles are really important in our postural control, what hold us up, what give us foundation, stability. And then the foot could rotate or go side to side, moving the foot in whatever way feels just right for you to meet and be curious about that sensation that's arising in the lower leg where the balls are sandwiching. And And then go ahead, remove the balls from the lower leg. And then we're going to shift them up just above the joint of the knee now. So we don't want to massage or roll onto the joints, but we want to come into the soft tissues just above the joint. So I'm going to find those bony prominences on the inside and outside of the knee, on the femur bone or the thigh bone, and I'm going to come just above them. And I'm going to give a little squeeze. And now I'm sandwiching them right into the adductors that bring the leg in, and then the IT band that stabilizes the lateral side of the leg, of the upper leg. And just start by letting the therapy balls sink into the body. Just meet the sensation, welcoming what's arising. Finding that just right spot that's making you a little curious. If you feel like you're pulling away, then there's too much pressure. Then you can use a larger ball, maybe take a block out if you have it. Lean back a little bit more into your spine rather than your legs. And then you can start to bend and straighten your bottom leg, improving the ability of those tissues to glide and slide. If you find a spot in the range that's sensational, maybe you just do little movements through there. Or maybe you pause altogether and let the body welcome the sensation, and by welcoming it, feeling it start to dissolve and dissipate. Get a little bit more broad, a little bit more diffuse, until you're left with just the sensation or pressure where body and ball meet. And then go ahead, reposition the balls, letting them come up just a little bit higher. Taking the block right into your groin so that you're going right along the entire medial thigh or inner thigh. And then welcoming the sensation in that next point, asking the body through that sensation, what does it need? What does it want? Does it want you to hang out here? Does it like the movement of the knee by kicking the lower leg, bending and straightening the knee? Does it want a little scrub up and down, knees to your chest, so that you go across in a cross fiber massage? Let the sensations lead you. There's no right way. Just find that just right pressure, that just right spot, that Goldilocks sensation of just being able to lean into it and say, that feels just right. That feels good. Without creating any retraction, without striving to go harder, just meeting yourself exactly where you are. And then coming up again. Now in the upper portion of the thigh. I find that as I come higher, there is more desire to just stay still and find stillness. Remember to return to your breath. Using the breath to assist with the softening as a driver of release. And maybe, just maybe not, you decide to pin and stretch. Taking about 3 more breaths wherever you are. or wherever you would like to be to finish up this leg sequence. Asking the body, what does it need to feel complete? And then when you're ready, removing the block, removing the therapy balls, keeping that bottom therapy ball nearby. I'm going to have you stay on your side, but rotate the legs back upright for a moment, taking the therapy ball right to the side of the buttocks, and then coming back over onto your side. I'm going to kickstand my opposite leg. For me, it's my left, so that I can unweight myself. Otherwise, it's a little bit intense, the pressure of the body weight completely on the outer buttocks. And you might notice that as you arrive here, if there's a little bit too much pressure, you can use a larger ball or a softer prop, or what you might even want to do is take a towel or blanket over it just to pad it so that you can start to lean into it. But you might notice that the initial response is to guard. Does that gluteal muscle clench? And if so, go ahead, let it clench. Actually lean into that clench a little bit and squeeze that buttocks against the ball even a little bit more. Dialing up the contraction in the direction that the body wants to go. Feeling what it's like to be tense. Tensing against the resistance of the ball, holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then release. See if you can feel yourself just sink into the ball a little bit more. Taking a sigh of release, letting go. And then go ahead, do that again. Maybe even find the just right location by moving the position of that ball a little bit right to where the body's calling. And then squeeze again, hold. Feel the gluteal muscle dial up the tension and contraction, pressing the ball away. As a result, you might feel yourself levitate just a little bit or unweight off the ball. And then releasing. Yeah, feeling the softening. Seeing if there's a little bit more letting go. And then find one more spot. Maybe you're in that just right spot, or maybe you need to reposition the ball in that outer glute just a little bit. And then go ahead one more time. Give me a little contraction. Breathing deeply right into where the ball and body meet. Letting the body stay as heavy and relaxed as possible as just that right glute activates. Noticing if there's overflow to other areas of the body. If so, softening. Doing as little as possible, only as much as necessary. And then releasing. And then rolling off of that therapy ball, staying on your side. I'm going to make a little swap right here. I'm going to take my block under my head, or you could take a blanket. I have a blanket right here, just so that I can take my Coregeous ball, maybe your foam roller, maybe your alpha ball, you choose, right into the side body. And I'm going to take my arm up overhead at the moment. And actually, I'm going to let my head rest on my hand. And I'm going to keep my knees bent. so that it's like I'm sitting in a chair. And I'm going to start to move up out of the pelvis, right to the ridge of the pelvis. And I'm going to start to floss that ball into the side waist. Feeling the arch and the round, the tuck, extension, and flexion of the spine. Almost like a cat and cow on your side even. See if you can expand that movement to start to move up the side body. First flossing and getting into the waist. Then bringing the ball up into the lower ribs. Stay with that same round and arch for a moment. Maybe your top hand comes to the top set of ribs so that you can feel that expansion on the inhale, compression on the exhale. You may even guide the bottom ribs down and in. And now I'm going to take my top arm and I'm actually going to slide it out and back so that I get a little rotation now over the ball. I'm going to take that block back so I can rotate my head, feel my head supported. Awakening the spine, the whole lateral line of the body on this underside. This lateral line of the body is also responsible for our ability to absorb force and compression. It's kind of like an internal spring system of the body that allows us to absorb impact. So when we can't disassociate or separate, our body can't absorb the impacts as well. So see if you can get the rib cage to move separate of the pelvis. Pausing if necessary, or if it feels just right, taking a full round of breath. And then let's just scrub along that side seam of the body by doing a little chug up and down. So as if you're trying to mobilize that side seam of your shirt. We have a similar seam in the myofascial structures of the body. The top leg might bend to give you a little bit of momentum. See if you can keep the head as heavy as possible. You may even come into the back of the armpits. The lat, which goes from the low back all the way to the arm, crosses through the back of the armpits. And if anywhere is particularly sensational or calling your attention, pause. And if you've lost awareness of your breath, pause and reconnect. If you feel yourself efforting, pause. Reconnecting to that sense of doing as little as possible, just as much as necessary, and exploring with curiosity. So if there's any striving or anything that doesn't feel just right, letting go. And leaning in, exploring, awakening this side body. Taking about 5 more breaths. Maybe you even just stretch out long on your side, arcing over the ball or the foam. Maybe as you let go, you feel a sigh and feel the vibration of that sigh along the side body. And when you're ready, when you're complete, let yourself come onto your back, just noticing the effect of the practice. Scan your body from lower leg to IT band to outer buttocks to side waist. Maybe even take the arms up overhead and notice the difference of how the arms reach up overhead. Sensing the effects and the benefits of the practice. Allow them to integrate as your body returns to stillness in this momentary Shavasana. Returning to midline. Integrating the work we've just done. Reconnecting to the external support and the ground of the floor beneath you. Feel yourself leaning into that support, letting go of efforts. Taking a full letting go breath, beginning again without expectation. Bend your knees and roll to the other side. So as you arrive on the opposite side, for me it's the left, take your set of balls. One ball comes under as the other comes between. And again, if you'd like, you could take your block as well, or a book works just fine too. I'm going to take the thinner one this time. And then you can just move the knee up and down just a little bit, finding that just right spot on the outer lower leg. And then I'll take that sandwich right here. And then I can also find that just right spot on the inside. And then allow yourself to come back down. I'm going to support my head again on my gorgeous ball. And then just meet that sensation. Feel the sensations in the other side. It might feel really different. It might even feel foreign after all the work we did up the other side of the body to come back down here. So just pause and arrive in that sensation for a moment. Feeling the compression of the posterior compartment of the lower leg. So bumping those balls right up against the back of the inner and outer bones, the tibia and fibula. And then go ahead and just start to pump your bottom foot. Slowly pumping. And the pumping might turn to a side-to-side motion. It might become a circular motion. If you circle one way, reverse the direction. And then go ahead, when you feel ready, find that next ball stop. So rolling the balls up, you can do it by just moving the legs, or you might just take the balls out and reposition them with your hands. Let the sensation of your body guide you so that you find what's just right for you. Find something that creates a sense of sensation, something that's interesting and makes you curious. Point and flex your toes again. Maybe swing the foot side to side. Maybe you just rest in stillness here. Finding what feels just right for you in this moment. And you may have done this before and it might feel completely different, or your body might be calling for something totally new because you're new right now in this moment. So listen to what the body's saying right now. Your sensations are always your guide. Guiding you to listen to what the body wants and needs right in this moment, to allow you to let go into spaciousness, into the ease that remains. And then find one more ball stop, moving the balls up to the upper portion of the lower leg. Staying below the joint of the knee. Doing a little scrub up and down if that feels good. Feeling that ball sandwich. Compress the back compartment, that area deep to the gastrocsoleus. This is what really regulates our posture. Noticing if you can even feel down again, all the way back into the stirrup of this foot. Maybe movement helps you awaken to that sensation. Take about 3 more breaths here until you feel complete in that lower leg. You may even bend the knees up to the chest and do a little scrubbing along that back line. Stripping, unsticking. And then releasing the lower leg. And moving the balls upward now into the thigh. So coming above those bony landmarks, those bony prominences, just above them at the bottom of the thigh. Feeling into right like you're sandwiching the whole thigh, right in the outside and inside portion of the thigh. The block or the book in the top knee are pushing down to stabilize, to pressurize that area. And again, just rest in stillness for a second. No rush to move. Can you let go of the efforting and just sense the sensations? And by listening to the sensations, asking the body what it wants right now. Does it want to move? Does it want to just stay and melt with time and gravity? If it wants a little movement, you can scrub the knees up towards the chest so that you do a little cross friction or cross fiber massage. Or you may start to straighten and bend the knee, pin and stretch. Don't try to go through the full range, but just stopping at every speed bump, every curious sensation, everything that arises along the way. Noticing and welcoming it. No need to make anything go away, welcoming everything just as it is. And if you find that you've lost the breath, bring it back. Resting in the constant change and movement of the breath. And then working your way up to another ball stop. Pause and listen. Noticing, welcoming, letting go of rushing, letting go of efforting. Breathing into where the ball and body meet. And then integrating a little movement. Move without losing that sense of support, without losing the feeling state of ground, of ease, of letting go. And notice if as you move, you lose the awareness of the breath, or if you start to tighten elsewhere in the body. Just notice without judging, and then just reset. And then maybe find one more spot up higher in the thigh. And as I move upward, I tend to prefer resting into stillness, feeling the sinking of the balls into the body. Using my breath as a driver of letting go, elongating the exhale, sighing, remembering that vibration of the sigh, of the letting go, can assist this lateral line release, our vibrational or shock absorbing line of the body. Take about 3 more breaths, finishing up this sequence for the leg. And as you're ready, making your way into the outside of the hip. So rolling your legs back upward, taking the ball into the outer hip, and then rolling back on it so you land behind the bony prominence of the hip. So making sure that you're behind the bone in that muscular portion of the buttocks. And then I like to kickstand my back leg. And again, notice what happens. This is a place where it's really easy to contract. So notice if you're squeezing the buttocks, and whether you are or not, squeeze it a little bit more. Feel that bottom buttocks engage so that you actually push the ball out. Feel the buttocks turn on, and then even dial up the volume a little bit more. Feel that contraction for 3, 2, 1, and then follow it by a gentle relaxation into the ball. Staying here or finding another just right spot in that gluteal. Go ahead. We'll do 2 more rounds, holding each contraction about 10 seconds or so that the brain has time to feel that contraction, to contract fully, and then to relax fully. So lean into that contraction. Notice if you can feel even a few more fibers of the buttocks engage this time. And then softening. Can you ease in a little bit more? Make sure you relax fully, completely between repetitions so that you can sense if there's still any holding on. And then maybe reposition to find that just right spot, that last bit of tension that's hanging out in the glute. Contracting and then relaxing, melting, and then rotating off of it, letting it go, replacing it with a foam roller, with a gorgeous ball, maybe a towel over it. And then I like to support my head. And we'll come into that pelvic tilting, that flossing into the side waist. A towel roll could even do, especially if this is tender. And we started with a little bit of pelvic tilt, so isolating the pelvis first, but then I had you make it a little bit more of a free movement, coming into this cat and cow shape on your side. This is the line that fish move along. So when they wag their tail side to side, it's that lateral movement. So maybe here as you're on your side, you can sort of sense the spine like a fish, arching from one direction to the other. Getting the ball right into the side waist. And then moving the ball upward, or the prop upward into the lower ribs. Now start to feel that expansion and then contraction of the front ribs. So inhale and exhale. Connecting breath and movement. And then changing the direction of movement of the spine to a little rotation. I'm going to come towards this book opener type shape, reaching forward and then sliding back, feeling a rotational or twisting motion over. And then scrubbing along that side seam. So just like the seam of your shirt, there's a seam right along the myofascial structures. So just maybe using that top leg, maybe even using your top arm just to roll and slide and explore and be curious. Make it playful. Make it authentic. Let go of efforting. Let the head rest on your hands. Can you keep a fluid motion like you're a fish moving in water? Maybe you even exhale, feeling that vibrational sound. Seeing what that does as you mobilize through the rib cage, making sure you get into the back of the armpit, feeling where the lat that connects all the way from the low back to the arm connects in here. Freeing up that overhead motion without straining or arching the back. So being able to separate now in this direction. And then finishing up in the next 5 or so breaths with as much movement or stillness, maybe stretching really long. Maybe making a few audible sighs. Whatever feels just right for you in this moment. Listening to the sensations of your body. Meeting it right where it is. And when you feel complete, letting go. Returning to your back for a momentary Shavasana to feel the effect of the practice. Let your legs reach long. Let your arms reach long. Feel the length in your whole body. Reach through the left hand and foot, and then reach through the right hand and foot, taking up as much space, maybe even making a big star. Feeling your body expand in all directions. Taking up all the space that you're entitled to. even reaching beyond your limits. And then surrendering completely. Reconnect to the external support of the floor. Letting gravity just pull you down a little bit more into it. Letting the entire back body make contact with the earth. Leaning into its support. Eliminating any effort. And then reconnecting to your breath. Feeling the internal support of the breath fill you. Moving in and moving out, taking in what you need and letting go what you don't. Until you feel completely at ease, return to stillness, and we'll begin again, rolling to our sides, sitting up. You can, as we come into a few seated yin postures, you could either sit on your block. You could also sit on a blanket or a cushion. I'm going to grab my blanket and keep your larger, softer ball and your block nearby. They may come in useful. And prop yourself up so that the hips can fall forward. And we're going to come into two variations here. We'll get both the upper body and the lower body in each of them. We'll do them back to back, both on one side and then both on the other. And this first is going to be double pigeon. So I'm going to have you we'll all do the same side. I didn't distinguish which side we would do before, but we'll do the same side here. So take the left foot under, and the left shin is like an L. And then take the right shin over. And you'll notice for me, my knee doesn't initially drop down. So I'm going to take my block, or you could take your gorgeous ball, and I'm just going to give it a little support, bringing the earth up to meet it, making sure that you don't prop too much so that you can't come to your end range. So as we come into these yin postures, we want to come right up like we're dipping the toes in the water of sensation. So you want to feel that sensation here. So that it's strong but sustainable. Notice if there's anything that tenses. If you feel the shoulders tense, the jaw tense, the eyes get wide. Soften anything extra, doing as little as possible. And notice if you need a little bit more support. Give yourself support. If the top leg needs to come out, go ahead, let it come out. If you prefer to do this on your back, do it on your back. What does your body need most in this moment? If you'd like to do it on a chair, do it on a chair. This is your practice. Meet yourself exactly where you are. And then you can stay here, or we're going to come into an eagle arm position, this Gardasana. So, or in yin, it's like a shoelace arm. So since the right side is on top, I'm going to bring the right arm under. So I'm going to bring my arms out wide and then thread my right arm under my left so they cross as much as they can, and then my palms come towards one another. And as you come into this, I want you to feel a little side body maybe wiggle and opening so that you start to lift the elbows. And I want you to press that upper back to the wall behind you as you press your forearms to the wall in front of you. So that you're taking as much forward and backward space as possible. You may even let the head drop into the hands here. And then stay here, or see if it feels, if you're inclined to, or if it feels just right for you to start to bend forward. And if you have a bolster or pillows, you can always prop yourself up. Or you can take your forearms and let them rest on the block. Meet yourself with whatever external support you need. If you find yourself efforting, ask yourself, what can I do to make myself feel 10% more supported? If as you come into the postures, the sensations start to build, then you've gone past your barrier. Then you've gone a little bit too far, which means you need to back off, maybe to the last variation. Wherever you are, allow yourself to be there with all of the sensations. Leaning into the support of the earth. And if you lost the breath, come back to it, particularly if the mind wanders, or if you find yourself lost in judgment. Can you pause here for about 10 more breaths? Asking yourself, how can I let go? How can I be 10% more at ease? What support do I need right now? External and internal. And how can I bring that to this? To let go of efforting. Do I need to raise the support of the floor up to meet me by propping my arms, propping my knee, propping my hips? Does my head want to be resting into support? Whatever it is you need most, listen to your body and do it now. Allowing the pose to evolve and change and grow with time. And then slowly backing off, one part at a time, rising up. Letting the arms unfold. And then we'll change the feet. Instead of crossing them out, I want you to try to take the right leg over so that the knees now are stacked on top of one another. And your feet move outward towards the side, bringing the pinky toe side of the feet down on each side. Feeling the inner thighs compress now. And then notice how this feels. If the knees don't stack, you can place something between the knees. If this is uncomfortable and not sustainable, that bottom leg could stretch out so that you can get more of that clamping between the inner thighs. And you can also give yourself more support under your buttocks so both sit bones are resting firmly on the floor. So arrive here into this foot position first. Can you feel both sit bones and the pelvis ground into the floor? Feel that support beneath your pelvis. Ground at that point, just as we began by grounding our feet. As we begin here, can you ground the sit bones? Breathing right into that space between them. Lifting up off of them with each inhalation. And then if it feels right, take the left arm, reach the left arm up and over to the right, coming towards a side bend. Let the head hang heavy towards the ground. Maybe the arm bends and cradles the underside of the neck, or it might continue to reach long. Keep that left sit bone grounding. I purposely had you go away from the bottom leg to help keep the grounding. Maybe the block comes to your elbow. Don't force yourself into the next variation, but slowly explore. Pausing at each point along the route. Feeling time, gravity, breath, all help the posture evolve. Take on the next form to transform slowly with time. Breathing, letting go, leaning into the earth, gravity pulling you down, letting go of the head, the jaw, the gaze, letting go of any effort. Maybe even feeling this turn into a little twist to the right. If it feels just right. Spiraling from the navel with each exhalation, feeling yourself wring the belly out. Feeling that liver on the right side being compressed. As we go into these lines of the body, we're detoxifying that liver meridian. So can you breathe right in deep to where that liver is? Exhale, wringing it out just a little bit more. Taking 5 more breaths. Maybe even bringing a gentle smile to your face. When out of balance, the liver can be associated with anger. But when in balance, with compassion. So can you create a little smile across the face, a little self-compassion. Compassionately being with whatever is right now. And then letting yourself unravel, coming up slowly, just for a minute, maybe using your hands to uncross your legs and letting the legs come out in front of you. Pausing in stillness. Integrating the benefits of the posture right in. About 90 seconds or so it usually lasts. Feeling the echo or the ripples move through the body. So you feel blood, energy, nourishment come back, rushing into all those areas of compression. And then when you're ready, we'll begin the other side, taking the bottom leg out in front. Oh, the right leg on the bottom out in front, sorry. So opposite side. Left foot or left ankle now comes on top of the right knee. And make it so that the shins are stacked on top of one another. Maybe to begin, taking a prop, allowing the support to meet you, starting right where you are. You have plenty of time, all the time you need. So no need to push, no need to strive. Ease your way into these expressions. Allow the body to unwind, allowing it to soften, allowing it to melt and open up into spaciousness. And if we do it slowly, the body will be better able to come to maintain it without force. It will remember. Being gentle with yourself, take a couple deep breaths. And then if you're ready and if you'd like, if it felt good on the other side, let the arms come out and cross tightly, bringing the left arm underneath the right now. And then bringing the palms to touch, coming towards eagle arms. Press the elbows forward as you press the upper back, taking up as much forward and backward space from front to back as possible. Filling that space with your breath between the elbows and the back door of the heart. Think of a bird puffing its chest, how it puffs out in all directions. Feeling that entire circumference. And then if you're ready, again, if it feels just right for you, by listening to the sensations of the body, maybe you start to fold forward into yourself. Allowing the head to drop toward your arms, allowing the arms to drop towards the floor. Pausing at any point in the way that's sensational or makes you curious. If you start to push into any discomfort, back off just a little bit. Kind of dipping your toes in the water of that sensation that's sustainable. No need to rush. No need to effort. Allow time and gravity to move you into this letting go. How can you make yourself 10% more comfortable? How can you be at ease with yourself as you are right now without judging,
If you feel the story reel begin or thoughts arise, come back to the breath, letting go of every thought, every judgment, any belief with each exhalation. Riding the wave of sensation, staying in the sensations of the body. Staying here for 5 more breaths. Asking yourself, what do I need most for the next 5 breaths? And doing so with loving kindness. And then coming up slowly on your own time, shifting the knees on top of one another now, shifting from an external rotation and abduction to more of an adduction and closing of the hips. So changing that hip. Feeling the feet move apart from one another now instead of the knees. And then resting back into your sit bones. Feeling both sit bones firmly grounding into the earth. With each exhale, sit bones becoming heavy. With each inhale, rising up out, feeling the internal strength arise on the inhale. And then if it feels right, raising the right arm up overhead, bringing you towards a left side bending position. Letting go of the head. Finding that just right arm position. Opening and breathing into the right side waist. Go of the head, jaw, even the gaze, and especially the effort. Awakening the breath in every area of sensation in the body. Asking yourself where you need more support. Is it external support from the floor or prop? Or is it internal support from a breath? If you find that you're antsy, you're irritable, lean into that ground support. If you're feeling really stuck, use the breath to make you feel a bit lighter. Finding all the support you need to make this sustainable for about 3 more breaths. And then if it feels right, twisting to the left. So it's a flexion rotation. So twisting from the belly, using the abdomen and wringing it out to turn to the left, letting the head hang. Maybe elbows come to blocks. This time wringing out into the stomach. Feeling the compression into the abdomen and lower rib cage on the left. Feel the breath fill the back body on the right. So breathe into the back of the liver on the right and exhale, wring out the stomach on the left. Letting go, detoxifying, feeling the compression. And then remembering how we're working on these lateral lines of the body. Remembering that after this compression, there'll be that beautiful spring recoiling of opening, awakening, allowing the flow into these areas of compression. Restoring space, ease, blood flow, and healing. So remembering the benefits and what's to come, can you find yourself relaxing in and easing in just a little bit more into that compression for 3 more breaths? Waiting for that sigh of letting go and release, and then making your way up slowly, gently uncrossing the legs, pausing for just a moment to allow that wave of sensation, that rush, that recoil and springing open of returning to midline and spaciousness occur. It may feel like tingling, like pulsing, like heat. Whatever the sensation, welcome. It might be quite intense too if you haven't done that for a while, or if the body's in need of detoxification. And then make your way all the way onto your back into your final Shavasana. Finding whatever support you need. To let the body completely let go now into rest. Let go of the entire back body. Calves, hamstrings, buttocks, sacrum, low back, mid back, upper back, back of the arms and hands, back of the neck, back of the head. And then let the entire front body let go into the back body, allowing the shins to drop into the calves, into the floor, allowing the kneecaps to be heavy, thighs melt around the femur bones, sinking back into the earth. Feeling the hip joints drop into the sockets of the pelvis, and the abdomen drop towards the back wall of the body, softly letting go into ease and support of the ground beneath it. Allowing the heart and lungs to become relaxed and at ease, dropping towards the back wall of the thorax, leaning into the support of the ground. Unhinging the jaw, letting the tongue drop back in the mouth. Eyes, head, and brain sinking back into the skull. Entire body heavy and at ease. And then feeling the body breathing itself, sensing the breath enter on the inhale, meandering through all of the crevices of the internal landscape. And then cleansing it out with the exhale. With each inhale, feel the breath fill the body with spaciousness, openness. And with each exhale, feel the breath taking away what no longer serves you. Without manipulating the breath, just gently rest your awareness on the breath. As the awareness, in which these sensations are arising. Aware yet at ease. Returning to your intention for this practice. Welcome in the felt sense of that intention met. And attained in this moment. Ushering in whatever it is you need most. Or resting in the spaciousness of what it was you were looking to let go of. And connecting to that sense of essential well-being, of having every perfect just as you are in this moment. And as you're ready, taking a full breath in. And then sighing it out. Rolling to your side. Or staying exactly where you are if you need just a little bit more time. To complete your practice. Thank you for your time, the beautiful gift of your bodies, and sharing this practice with me. Namaste.